Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Kevin, and I would like to share with you this exciting hands-on project where I use the power of automation in the AWS command line interface. I first walk you through creating an EC2 instance using Linux 2023, installing an Apache web server, and then creating another instance from a newly customized AMI image. The fun really begins as I use the AWS CLI to automatically create the very same environment and to automate the process of terminating EC2 instances once done. As a DevOps engineer, automation is the key component to everything we do. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's start off by creating an EC2 instance. Let's launch an instance. Okay, so now that we're on the launch an instance page, let's create a unique name. I'm going to call this Linux AWS EC2. Okay, now for our AMI image, we're going to select Amazon Linux. So it's going to be Amazon Linux 2023. We're going to keep it as 64-bit. It's going to be a T2 micro. So now for the key pair, we're going to select an already created pair. Under network settings, we're going to, for security group, we're going to select an existing security group. Okay, all the other settings here will be default. Now we're going to go to advanced details. So we're going to go to the user data section and we're going to input a script. The purpose of this script is so that upon startup, it's going to update all the packages within Linux. We're going to install Apache2. We're going to start Apache2 and we're going to enable the Apache2 service. So let me go to my notepad. Let me copy. Let me paste. Okay, so as I said previously, I'm going to update the system packages within Linux and install any available updates. We're going to install the Apache2 web server. We're going to start it, and we're also going to enable the services upon startup. Okay, so let's launch this. It's going to take a few minutes. Okay, successfully initiated. So let's go back to our instances page. And as you can see, we have our instance, Linux Prod EC2. All right, so let's select that. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to test that our Apache web server services is running. So we're going to select the public IP address. We're going to go to a web page. We're going to paste in the IP address, enter. Voila, it works. So this is the default message you receive once you connect to the Apache2 web server. So we know that the services are running properly. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create an AMI image from this instance. So we're going to right click on the instance. We're going to select image and templates, create image. Now we're going to create a name for our image. We want to keep this consistent with the existing image. With the existing instance that we have. So we're going to do Linux Prod AMI image. This not only makes it easier for ourselves when we're going back and looking at this image, but it makes it easier for other system admins to reference the image for the instance created. Okay, so now we're going to create the image. Okay, see we have a currently creating AMI from instance message. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our images section, AMI. As you can see here, the image has been created successfully. Okay, here we have all our necessary information: AMI ID, AMI name, Linux prod AMI image. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create, or we're going to launch an instance from the AMI image. So we have the AMI image selected. We're going to launch instance from AMI. Okay, now we're going to put a unique name. And once again, we're going to keep the naming convention similar to the original instance and to the AMI image. We're going to type Linux prod AMI image EC2. So this makes it easier not only for us later on to reference, but for other system administrators to reference as well. Once that's done, we're going to go to My AMIs. We're going to look for the existing one that was created. It's going to pop up shortly. And here we have the Linux prod AMI image, instant type T2 micro, key pair. We're going to select an already created one, just like before. Network settings, we're going to do security group, already created, similar to what we did before. And we're going to swing down to advanced settings. We're going to go to user data, and we're going to not only copy the previously inputted script, but we're going to also add a customized message. Okay, everything looks good, so let's launch our instance. It's going to take some time. Okay, it was successfully created. Let's go to view where all our instances are located. Refresh. And as you can see, we have our newly created image, Linux prod AMI image EC2. Okay, so it's still initializing. Let's give it a few more minutes. Okay, it's running. Let me select that. Okay, so you see the public IP address, instant state, it is running. So let's copy that IP address. Let's find a new web browser, paste the IP address, and let's enter. Perfect. And as you can see, the customized message, site maintenance. So I particularly picked this one because this is something I would usually put when I'm doing a scheduled maintenance work on a website. So for example, let's say it's a Friday night. We want to put this message up on our web server so users know if they try to connect that it's offline. We're doing work, and on Monday morning, we'll put the service back online and service will be resumed as usual. So I think this is a great customized message. So let's go back, and that pretty much concludes this portion of creating an instance from an AMI image. Okay folks, so let's do a brief recap. So everything we've done up to this point has been manually done. We've created an EC2 instance, the OS of choice, Linux 2023. We've set up in the user data field a script that upon startup updates all the packages, installs all the uh, patches, installs Apache2, starts and enables Apache2. We've also created a AMI image of the instance. We've created another instance from that image connected to the website that has come up successfully with a customized message. So now you're in for a treat. We're going to automate this whole process. We're going to use the AWS CLI. We're going to type in a couple scripts, and we're going to have an EC2 instance created with the startup scripts for updating packages, installing Apache, starting, enabling, and at the very end, we're going to terminate the EC2 instance. This is going to be good. Okay, so let's start off by opening up a command prompt. Now, I've already set up the AWS CLI application. So to confirm, we can do AWS version. As you can see, I have version 2.2232. Okay, so in order for us to connect to an EC2 instance, we first have to create a security group. So I have on a notepad all the scripts needed, and I'm also going to be doing modifications on the notepad. So let me enter the first command. Okay, so we're going to create a security group. I'm going to name this group Level Up Bank 2025. Let's do that now. Okay, so we just created a security group. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that security group because we're going to use this information for later on. Let me copy that to my notepad. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is within every security group, there are inbound rules. We need to set up a rule to allow all traffic from the outside coming in through TCP port 80, and that's going to be HTTP. And we need another one for TCP port 22, which is SHH. So let's start off with the first one, which is HTTP. Okay. We have security group ingress, group ID. So let me change the security group because I have a older security group ID in here. Put this in here. Okay. Paste that new one in there. Make sure I only have security group naming just once. Okay, port 80. Starter block is always going to be all zeros. So this allows all IP addresses to come in. So let me hit enter. Okay, so we just created that first rule. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for the second rule. So let me update the security group on my sheet. So we could do this one time. Okay, so let me copy and paste this. So you see we have the ingress security group, and this is going to be for port 22 TCP. This is SSH. All right, perfect. Now a very important piece of information to note if you look at the security group rule ARN, you'll see that this is being created in US East 2. Let me move this out the way. And if you take a look at my region now, I'm currently in US East 1. So let me select East 2 right now. Okay, perfect. Now, just quickly, let's take a peek at the security group section. And if you can see right now, Level Up Bank 2025 is currently being built. If I select it, inbound rules, you see we have HTTP, TCP, port 80. We have SSH, TCP, port 22. So you see how this is building everything out automatically. Okay, so let's go back to our CLI console. So now the next thing we need to create in order for us to SSH into the EC2 instance, we need to create a key pair. So let me put my script in place. Let me copy. Let me paste that. We have the key pair. I'm going to name this key pair Level Up Bank 2025. As I always stated before, I want to keep the naming convention similar for documentation purposes, so anyone who wants to reference this can see what to use in this particular project. So let's enter. Okay, so the key pair was taken. Let's take a quick peek at that as well. All right. Underneath the network and security section, we have key pairs. And as you can see, Level Up Bank 2025 key pair has been created. Excellent. So let me bring back our CLI. Okay, the next thing I want to do is we need to select the AMI image ID. Now the best way we can do this is to reference one that we have to start up. So let's do dashboard. Let's go to AMI catalog. I want to do an Amazon Linux 2023. So let's select this and let's just launch this one. The reason why is I need to get the AMI ID. So right here is the software image. I'm going to get the AMI ID right here, copy. I'm going to paste this on my notepad. Now just remember, the instance I just launched, it's not a complete launching and creation. It's just the beginning portion, just to get the AMI. So that's not going to be the instance I'm going to be working with. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create an Apache_server.sh file. In this file, I want to put the script that will automatically, upon launch, update system packages, install any available updates, install Apache2, start Apache, and enable it upon startup. So let me go and we're going to use an editor, a text editor tool called Vim. Let me just type this in here. The name of this file, I'm going to put this as Apache_server.sh. Okay. So as you can see, I've already created this file, the Apache_server.sh, and I have the scripts in here. As you can see, system packages, install updates, installs Apache, starts, enables, and I have a custom message here. Okay, let me just close this file out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to launch EC2 instance. All right, so let me just make sure my file has all the needed information. It has the correct AMI. It has the correct security group ID. Let me just copy here. I'm going to show you the screen in a minute. Just want to make sure my notepad, everything looks correct. Okay, so let me copy and paste it now. Okay, so this is the script to run the instance. I have my AMI ID, micro, pair, the region, which is US East 2, and the correct security group. Alright, so let me, the AMI 70B, security group 947. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, so you see it's being created as we speak. See the private IP address has been created. Get more group ID is being attached, referenced. Okay, all right. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to the console, main console. We're gonna go to instances. We're gonna refresh. And you see we have a new instance set up. And we can verify that by looking at, for example, the private IP address, 172.31.946. Go back to the CLI. You can see the same IP address, 172.31.946. So we have successfully created the EC2 instance. And let me check. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to check the status of the EC2 instance. Now, if you just do look at the GUI, you can tell that it's running, right? But say we're not looking at the GUI. We're going to use the command copy and paste. AWS EC2 describe instances. I'm going to run that. Now, this shows all the instances that you have running. Right now, we only have one. So, let's see. US East 2B shows you the launch time, T2 micro, instance ID. And look, it also gives you the public IP address. So definitely the same private 46. And if I minimize, you see the public address 3141.385. It's definitely the same instance. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to run a instance status. Once again, if we're not looking at the console, we need to know the status. Okay, so this is the instance ID. Oops. Okay, so this is a different instance ID. 1 second. So let me find the instance ID. Okay, it's right here. Let me copy. Put the command again. Backspace, paste, enter. Okay. As you can see, this is the status. It's in the AWS EC2 instance ID. It is definitely running and it is reachable. Status passed. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find a web browser, put in the public IP address, and connect. As we saw earlier, public IP address is 3.141.3.85. Alright, so let me copy the public IP, go to a web browser, paste, enter, and yes, it works. So we did see this earlier when we tested out our other EC2 instances. So we can definitely connect. The instance is working. This is perfect. So the next thing I want to do is, now you can create an instance, but you also have to remember you're going to be incurring charges. So the next step for us is to terminate the instance. So let me copy and paste the appropriate command. We're going to terminate the instances, the instance ID, region US EC2. Okay, you see the name terminated. Now let's take a look at the console. We're going to refresh. I'm going to refresh one more time. It takes a good few minutes. Let's go back. Okay. This has the incorrect instance ID. Let me put the correct one in here. So let's go back. This is the actual correct one. Let me copy. Let me repeat the command. Let me paste. Okay, let me enter. Okay, now we're shutting it down. And let's confirm on the console. This is the instance. Let's refresh. As you can see right here, it's shutting down. You have to make sure you put the correct instance ID to reflect your instance. Let's refresh it again. You can see it's shutting down. In a few minutes, it will be terminated. One more thing we can do is we can run the status on this instance. Let me make sure I input the correct instance ID in my notepad. Okay, so let me copy, paste that in, and let's run it. Enter. Okay, When you see this instance status, that means it is terminated. It's not active, it is not shutting down, it's in a terminated state. So let me go to here, to our instance, let's refresh. And as you can see, it's in a terminated state. Okay, so that pretty much concludes this hands-on project. This has really been great for me. Not only doing the hands-on manual, but doing the automation piece. Hope you guys enjoyed it and look forward to my next video.